intelligence, AI, is a wide-ranging tool that enables people to rethink how we integrate information, analyze data, and use the resulting insights to improve decisions that are geared towards transforming every walk of life. Now, to give us more details on the topic is Dr. Lameck Amugongo, who's a lecturer and researcher at the Namibia University of Science and Technology, and he's also someone who is very passionate about artificial intelligence, ethical technologies, and digital transformation. Doctor, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Nina, and good evening to your viewers.
Thank you so much for being here. How are you this evening?
Oh, exhausted, but I'm well.
Fantastic, thank you. Now, Doctor, almost everywhere you go, everyone is talking about artificial intelligence. But what exactly is it in the layman's terms?
Okay, let me try to explain it as if I'm explaining to a 5-year-old.
Right.
So basically, kids, as they grow up, they learn, and they learn to recognize that this is a cup. They learn to recognize that this is a person. They learn to recognize that this is an animal. And what do human beings do to animals, or how do human beings interact with the environment in which they are in? So basically, with artificial intelligence, we want to actually create a machine that mimics human-like intelligence. So we want to be able to, given data, want to be able to teach this machine to be able to know that, okay, this is a table, this is a chair, this is Nina, and there is a car outside. The function of a car is to move from one place to another. And that's what we want to train a machine to be able to do in a nutshell.
All right. I know this is a very broad question, but how will artificial intelligence, change the future?
Actually, it's already happening now. Many of us, we have Netflix. When we go home and watch Netflix, we find recommendations of what to watch, and basically that uses artificial intelligence, which looks at things, movies that you have watched before, and look at movies that some other people have also watched that are similar to the ones that you watch, and then recommend it to you. And also, when we are searching, Google, although we put keywords, what's actually happening behind, it's a lot of complex algorithms running, and that's why even sometimes you find that you search a certain item, and then the next thing you get, it's an advert of that particular something similar to that. And many of us, we have iPhones, we use Siri, and we speak to Siri. And Siri is actually what you call a voice assistant. So it uses what you call natural language processing, which is a form of artificial intelligence to teach machines to understand human language. So it's already happening, and the only thing how artificial intelligence will change or shape the future is if we as Africans are not involved in the development of AI technologies. We are going to have a lot of technologies that are developed in the Western world that do not understand us and that do not even understand the context in which we are. So we have to ensure that we participate in the development of such technologies.
Speaking of Africa's participation in the development of AI, how is Namibia faring in the development and embracing of artificial intelligence?
Yeah, so Namibia is not faring that well, but there's been a lot of progressive things happening, such as, of course, the 4th Industrial Revolution Task Force, and subsequently this task force actually then submitting this recommendation or this report to the president, which I think is a step in the right direction. But I hope it does not just end there, but we really take some of these recommendations and implementing them. And as the Namibia University of Science and Technology, it's a premier University of Science and Technology, we have started courses around data science, like a master's in data science, but we also have other courses in artificial intelligence, which, and the point here really is to actually prepare the young people for the future by equipping them with these essential skills that will enable them to actually participate in the creation of AI technologies. And Nina, in the past few years, a lot of companies will ask you if you it will have been an advantage in your CV if you know Microsoft Word and Excel. But today, you must know how to code. And coding is very, very essential to the creation of these artificial intelligence technologies.
You mentioned earlier how it's possible that, you know, Africa might be at the short end of the stick of fully enjoying AI if we aren't, you know, part of the development process. And, you know, speaking of that, Namibia and other African countries, of course, have a digital divide, other African countries, and we also experience that. And how do we then, you know, bridge that gap, especially for our people that live in the rural areas? You know, how do they then get involved when there is that digital divide, you know, in these third world countries?
Yes, that's a very, very important question, you know, and I think in this way, I've always emphasized, and a lot of people do not agree because it's not popular, that we must do these things at the grassroots level. In all 121 constituencies of this country, we must turn those youth centers into coding schools, teaching really the young people in those poor communities and rural communities coding. And I take an example of myself. Coming from Oshakati many years ago, I did not know, I have never seen a computer before. And then I went to Diebra and I did computer studies, and I see how that has transformed and changed my life. If we can actually equip young people in rural communities with coding skills today, they are going to be the next Mark Zuckerberg when they finish school, or even before that. So we need to really make sure that we take these things to the grassroots. Maybe let me just give an example. For instance, where the role of artificial intelligence can really help poor communities. For instance, in rural communities where we do not have expertise, such as expert doctors, the specialists, we can have a nurse there or a junior doctor there that can leverage on some of this simple mobile-driven artificial intelligence systems to kind of like aid them in decision making, or to kind of like also connect with a specialist who is in Windhoek. But through artificial intelligence, we can be able to allow also people in poor communities to access quality and affordable healthcare as well.
As much as there's so much positive that comes with AI, I think some people are also a bit wary when they hear that bots are going to be involved, because especially, you know, for the workforce, there's this, you know, fear that, you know, these bots will take over their jobs. Speak to us a bit about that and how we can, you know, balance adopting AI while maintaining job security.
And just to be frank, I'll start that, you know, anything that does not require thinking will be easily automated by machine.
Yeah.
And organizations want to optimize, want efficiency, so they'll put machines there. But these AI systems that are coming in, they will create new jobs. So basically, the people who used to do the manual work will need to be upskilled to be able to then maybe be the ones that are ensuring that the robot is working correctly, to be the one servicing the robot, or to be the one to be the one actually supporting the work that the robot will be doing. But I'm not afraid of the job loss. What I'm afraid of as a scientist is that we sometimes, we always mean good. But there are also unintended harm and consequences that can come from artificial intelligence system. Let's say even you have an artificial intelligence system developed with American, Caucasian data, and then it comes here, and then it's in the clinic, and then I go there or you go there as a black child, but because the data that was used did not include us, and then it actually misdiagnoses us. And then maybe the doctor takes the wrong action because of what the system does. Who will be blamed for that? And who should be blamed for that? And for me, the ethics in artificial intelligence is the most important thing that we should be worried about. I know everyone is excited, we are going to have these tools, but
that's an important
we
aspect,
have to really look at the ethics and on how these AI systems work. We have to ensure, are these systems fair? Do they treat everyone equally? Or they are just going to take the biases that we have in our society
currently,
exactly, and put it in these systems? Are they explainable? If it makes a decision, can somebody know why it took that decision? And yeah, these are some of the things that we really have to think about.
Thank you so much. We're unfortunately out of time, but thank you so much for joining us this evening. It was lovely having you here.
Yeah, it was nice being here. Thank you.
Thank you. You can catch Dr. Amugongo and a host of experts as they discuss ways to create a